Hi guys, welcome. So today we're going to be testing out the last couple CarPro products. We've got Bug Out, Reload, Hydro2 foam. I also have some Total in here. This is an Ethos Products wheel and tire cleaner, and I just needed something that was a wheel cleaner, so that's what we're going to use today. I actually have a rental car over here. So my stepdaughter and her wife are in town, and they rented, it's a Kia Soul, so it's sitting over here. It's white, and they've been driving all over the place. They went up to Big Sur, they went down to LA, they've been kind of all over the state in the 2 weeks that they've been here so far. And it's a little bit dirty. So we're going to use Total on the wheels and tires. We're going to use Bug Out on the front of the car where there's a whole bunch of bugs. We're going to use Hydro2 to foam the car and wash it, and then we'll see how that does from like a hydrophobic standpoint, and then we'll play around with Reload as a sealant and see how that does. So I'll get everything ready here, come back to the camera, and we can go from there. Let's start with Bug Out. Traditionally, I've used P&S Bug Off. I've also used a 3D product, Bug Remover. That's worked very well. So you can see we've got a lot of splats kind of all over the front of the car here. And this is a do not use in direct sunlight type of product because you don't want to etch things. One of the nice things about rental cars is you don't have to care all that much. I mean, I guess you do. You don't want to ruin it, right? But at the same point, rental cars are the fastest cars in the world. And they're also one of the least anxiety causing to clean. So got all that. Hit the windshield too. Bug Out wants a 5 to 30 second dwell time. So we're definitely going to have at least that. We'll see how it does. Now, I normally like to look at runs. I've got colored runs coming off of these bugs. Colors down, colors down, colors down. Hit some of that. Let this sit for a couple more seconds and then we'll rinse it off. While we're waiting, I'm going to hit a tire with Total. I like Total. Immediate browning, works really well. So let's rinse this front bumper and see how it does. I don't know, 60–70% cleanup. There's still obviously some bugs here. If I work at them with my finger, they'll break off. But they're needing some agitation. So maybe not the strongest bug remover I've ever used, but it didn't work too bad. Now, I did hit the wheels and tires with Total. No agitation. Let's see how this does. A little bit of curb rash here. Don't know if that's from the girls or previous to their rental, but somebody got a curb with this wheel. Total's a great product. It really is. Works very, very well. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of the car and then we'll start working on foaming. I don't know, let's try this as a one-step wash. That's what it advertises. Hydro2 is a one-step wash and coat. All right, let's try it. Let's foam. You might be curious about that foamer that I just used, because you might notice that I did not dilute the soap. Well, that foamer has a metering tip in it, and it produces a PIR of about 1%, or a 1 to 100 ratio of soap hitting the car. So it's kind of the same as doing like a 1 to 8 to 1 to 10 inside most foam cannons. Not all foam cannons are created equal, so I have to give a range. Some foam cannons for me are 1 to 15, some are closer to 1 to 10, but that guy's kind of cool because it lets me test out products that are targeting like a 1% dilution ratio without having to get out a bottle and mix everything up and do a full foam cannon that I'm gonna end up with half of it sitting on the shelf when I'm done, and you know, that kind of stuff. So I'll do a video on those. Right now I think that one's out of stock actually, but they're pretty interesting. So I'll give this like a high user experience grade. It's foamy, it's thick. It also doesn't have like a great scent or anything. It's just meh. It's just fine. You know, this isn't the product that I would typically use, right? Like, I'm normally going to use a soap and a pre-wash and have a multi-part setup, but this being a one-step, I'm not the target audience for it, right? But some people are. They're just looking for something simple, right? I want to hit my car. I want to have some protection. I don't want to put a lot of effort into it. Maybe they're not nuts like me and a lot of us are. Rather than like lower the effectiveness of my soap, if that makes sense, in order to add some protection. So, but I also generally don't like and products. Wash and wax, wheel and tire. APC. Not doing too bad. Soap doesn't seem to have a really high cleaning power. It's not really affecting any of these bugs. I'm having to pick at them with my fingers. Anything that was left behind by the bug wash. So again, I think we could have benefited from a pre-wash here. But let's see how this does, how the rinse off is, and what the hydrophobics are like. So I am seeing some improvements in water behavior, but not nearly what we would expect from like a normal coated car, or even something that has like a good ceramic-based quick detailer applied to it. You can see that I've got like large droplets in large areas where there isn't a lot of water here, but I also do have some sheets in some other places. I still have some tar on this side of the car that I'm gonna have to get off. And then I think what we'll do is we'll play with the sealant reload, see how that works. This here is another CarPro product called Tar-X. It's in this press-all bottle because I buy it by the gallon. I've used it for a long time. And I will say for tar removal, like this rubber that's here on the side, it works incredibly well. Now, I did a video where I was testing a whole bunch of different tar removers. Tar-X was one of them. And I found that it performed in the middle of the pack while having a good user experience. I honestly don't really mind it. For as often as I use it, I think it works very well. I regularly use it for things like removing adhesive from computers and laptops for work. And I find it works very well for that. And I don't generally like ruin things because it's too aggressive or anything like that. So I think now we have an opportunity to test out reload. It says on the instructions not to do this in direct sunlight. Likely they are trying to protect you from the possibility of having spotting issues. I'm obviously using it in sunlight. Spray over a section, spread evenly with a microfiber towel, wait 30 to 60 seconds, use a second microfiber towel to give it a final wipe until finish is clear. So, all right, seeing some immediate streaming action from this water. Let's spread it out with our microfiber. If it's streaky, we'll try it in the shade and do a different thing on it, but a lot of times you have no choice but to use it in the sun, so I try to just take the day as it comes, and if I run into problems, that's when I'll dig into, okay, what could we have done differently? It definitely has a good slickness. Maybe a little bit of gloss enhancement. I'm seeing a little bit more shine on the hood. Now this paint is pretty rough. This has clearly been through a car wash a lot in its life. Lots of swirls, lots of different directions for those swirls. Let's see what happens if you apply a little bit more reload over the top of reload. Do you get more streaks or rejection? Anything like that? No. Really seems to work well. Okay. Well, that's cool. So we'll test out the water behavior on this, give it a minute to dry. And we can dry some of the rest of the vehicle while we're waiting. And actually, while we're at it, I've got a door here that has hydro foam on it, Hydro2. Let's put elixir on here. Let's try like 3 different panels together. So I'm gonna hit this door with some elixir, which is a quick detailer. Another CarPro product that I tried previously and really liked. And we'll just kind of see how they perform next to each other. Now, these aren't the same thing, right? One is a quick detailer, drying aid. The other is a sealant. Sealant will tend to have more chemical resistance, maybe a little bit less slickness. The other is a spray-on foam with a little bit of protection. So, kind of different products, but my guess is I'm gonna like the elixir panel better. Leave our back door here open. And I'll dry off the rest of the car while we're letting this stuff set up. We've got back door, Hydro2. Here we've got the sealant, reload, and there we've got elixir, which is their quick detailer. So from a feeling perspective, elixir is definitely slicker. This is definitely slicker than just the foamed car, right? So let's look at water behavior. So foam on, rinse off, definitely an improvement, but still large sheets, large sections of wetness. The bubbles they're not round, they're not tight, they're there, but it's not great. Here's the sealant. There we're getting nice tight bubbles. You can see they're nice and small. Everything is round, and you can tell that we've got a high level of hydrophobics. Looking at this compared to this, there's a drastic difference. So what we would expect. Now let's take a look at this. Elixir, we have that same nice tight bubble, lots of falling action. They're nice and round, and I would say I would prefer this. So in my opinion, using a one-step soap like Hydro2, the whole point of that is for ease of use. but I feel like it's giving something up on the cleaning action in that it didn't attack those bugs. It didn't really help with the tar and some of the other deposits and things that we had on the car. And it doesn't perform as well as Elixir does at our hydrophobics test. I think there's a couple different ways that you could approach this situation, right? You could either wash your car with a soap that has a higher cleaning power and then go over it with some sort of coating. That could be a sealant, that could be a quick detailer, it could be a variety of different things. Or you could use a product that has a low cleaning action but gives you a little bit better use, and I feel like you still have to do some pre-wash, and therefore you're leaving something on the table. So in my opinion, and this is the way that I normally do it, I would much rather use something like an active foam shampoo, whether that's CarPro or another product, and then use a detailer of some kind, quick detailer, spray sealant, one of those types of products at the end to give me my slickness, my protection, my hydrophobics, because no all-in-one product that I have ever tested has been better than using individual products. And I think the protection is really, it's what you're seeing on the paint, it's what you're feeling, again, my opinion. So that's all I have for today. I'm gonna finish this up, and then I will be, in a couple minutes when I'm done drying this, I'll be filming my CarPro wrap-up video, because now I've tested the entire line with the exception of their microfiber wash MFX, which I'll get to that eventually, but let's just say I don't think MFX is going to be a game changer. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but a lot of people really liked Rags to Riches for a long time. I'd never really heard of MFX being, a superior product or a great product. And Renaissance by Detail Co. kicks the crap out of Rags to Riches, so we'll still give it a fair shake. We'll still test it out, and we'll still see how it works.